Today's episode is awesome. Today we have Hannah Palpant, somebody who's honestly just following the dream and doing it very well. I love this conversation with her. It's really, really inspiring. And on top of that, for anyone who's thinking about getting into this career, I think this is a really notable conversation. This year has been super awesome to her. It was really great to be able to take a second, chat with her, and hear what she's been up to. So let's get right into it. Hannah Palpant, what's up? But yeah, it's been cool to like see your progression over the little time that I've followed you like online and seen your work. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's definitely been cool seeing your stuff and getting to just see. I mean, I will say filming and taking pictures of cars is a dream of mine. And so when I saw your work, I was like, I want to do this.
That's
So
interesting. Yeah,
someday.
that's cool. Yeah, no, I didn't realize that you were into like motorsport stuff because like yeah, I find like all sports photography is very, very similar. Like yeah, just like chasing like high paced moments, like raw energy and things like that. So how long have you done photography? I guess just to start right at the beginning.
Yeah, so I started photography 5 years ago, 5 or 6-ish years ago. I actually went to culinary school first. So the very brief summary of my story is out of high school, I decided to go to Denver to pursue being a chef, which is quite different than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool though. I mean, that's very respectable.
Yeah. And then after a year of being there, COVID kind of shut everything down. And I decided to come back home, which is Spokane, Washington. So I came back here and I still loved creating and cooking food. And I was like, well, why don't I just, I guess, take pictures of the food I was making? Now, I hope no one ever sees those photos I took because they were so bad. But then I started doing that and realized I loved creating. It was the art of cooking that I loved. Of course, I love, the actual eating part of it, obviously, but the art of cooking was just really, really cool to me. And so getting
Yeah,
to
like the process of
yeah,
creation. Yeah.
yeah. So I pursued that a little bit. And then my friends saw, I started posting the food pictures, and my friends saw it and said, hey, you take pictures of food. You should take pictures of me, which is not at all the same. Food photography and taking pictures of people are very different, but I'm glad they asked because then I started doing that.
I mean, Spokane's not a necessarily small town from where Victoria wise, at least from where I'm from, but it's the small town thing where you're kind of dipping your toes into all these sub industries. So that totally makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, why not try everything? And then 3 years ago, my sister, she played basketball for the high school at the high school that I grew up in. And she was one of the best players on the team. And so I was like, I'm gonna go take pictures of her because I grew up playing basketball at 6-ish years of I played basketball and I played volleyball. I grew up watching the NFL and college football with my dad. So sports is just part of my life. Even I will say I would not have been good enough to play in college. So this is my way of being a part of sports. So I decided to just invest in my sister's team. And so I decided to come shoot like videos and pictures. During that time, one of the moms, her daughters didn't even play sports, but her and her husband they work at Gonzaga. And which growing up in Spokane and knowing that Gonzaga basketball, it's one of the biggest college basketball names. And I just grew up a huge fan, loving the team. She saw my videos and said, Hannah, you need to come shoot for Gonzaga, which I thought was hilarious because I think most creatives can agree that we're all pretty perfectionists. And so when we look at our content, we often compare, at least I do. I compare
It's a
what I
hundred
want.
percent.
And when I was looking at my stuff, I just knew that it was not that good.
It's that combined because it's so funny. Like we're the hardest on ourselves because I'm sure I would disagree looking at that video in question, but it's that combined with like imposter syndrome of the moment by
Yes.
the sounds of it. So yeah, no, keep telling me more. But yeah, that's very relatable, unfortunately.
Yes. So she just kept saying, like, Hannah, you need to go. And I was like, this is going from a very tiny high school level sport to a D1 level basketball team. No way. No way it's going to happen. And her husband works closely with the team. And so he was like able to connect me with someone on the team, one of the creatives. And I just got in touch. Nothing happened for, I had to have been 6 to 7 months because the person I was communicating with, it was just a slow process. And I was kind of a nobody, which made sense. So I just kept in touch, but nothing really happened. And then I also am really close to Washington State football, the team, which I'm also a Wazoo fan. And so I wanted to see, could I get on the Wazoo field? So at the same time, I was pursuing Gonzaga basketball.
Okay, so this was all happening at the same time. Yeah, because I
Yes,
think this is like roughly when I probably started seeing content, question mark.
possibly. Yes. So this would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think roughly around then is when we like connected online. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I found people, I got connections to this gentleman who has shot for Wazoo for probably decades. I don't know, probably a long time. I met with him, older gentleman, and he gave me some great advice, but he basically said it's impossible to get on a D1 football field. There's no just walking on the field as if it was like a D3 school, or people aren't just going to let you there because everyone wants to be on the field. And so I just kind of gave up. I was like, well, okay, cool. I guess it's not going to happen.
The old
And
narrow-minded
yeah,
outlook.
yes, I know. I mean, but at that
I
point,
say that knowing that you aren't like that now, based off of everything
well,
I see online.
no, you're right, though. I was so tough on myself, and I just knew that these were impossible dreams. But I thought this would be cool, but it's not going to happen. And a little bit later, I was on Instagram and I saw this girl who used to work at Wazoo as a creative and then ended up going to the Seahawks. She tagged someone who she used to work with. And so I, of course, went stalking, saw that there was this guy who worked as a creative for the Wazoo football team. So I knew that the best thing to do to get better is to ask questions. So I messaged him knowing that I was close to the team, like I was in near proximity. So I thought, hey, I messaged him. I said, hey, I would love to come meet you or your team and ask you questions. I didn't ask anything about going on the field. I just wanted to ask questions just because I didn't want to push that or I didn't expect it
It's
actually.
yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, that's like the different. Well, like you're not doing it to try and stand out from a different approach. You're actually trying to do it for like the right reasons and to learn more, but it's why it works, if from my experience at least.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I kept it doing that anyways. But for that meeting, I will never forget the days that this happened because I think this meeting changed my outlook on what could happen and open doors I never thought were possible. So I remember I messaged him on a Saturday, which is the day they have the games. He immediately responded and said, absolutely, I would love to meet. Maybe this week. I'm at a football game right now. Why was he messaging me? I don't know. But I
That's
said,
impressive.
you are amazing. Thank you for responding. And he said, reach out to me on Monday and we'll set something up. So Monday comes around. I messaged him. I said, hey, I'd love to meet up. I'm pretty much free all week. So we planned it for Wednesday. So I drove over, went over to the office, and he took me into the office space where him his videographer and photographer were all just chilling at their desks. And I sat down and they were like, yeah, so just ask us questions, whatever you want, which I was already so nervous because I didn't know these guys. I felt like I was a nobody and I was so nervous. So I just asked, I was like, so how do you guys get here? What are things, very general beginning question of what are things I could work on to get to this place that you guys are at? And they were so kind, just answering. And then out of nowhere, the videographer, he just said, why don't you join us this Saturday? And, we'd love to show you around and uh, have you practice on the field, which of course I had to control myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're like shaking. Like, sounds good. Like, yeah, no, I know the moment. That's yeah.
And they all were said, we know it is last minute. You don't have to do it. I know it's a lot, especially because there was only 3 home games left in the season. So they were very much like, you don't need to go, no pressure. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to go. And I had a wedding in Boise, which is a 6-hour drive.
Yeah, you're gonna find someone to cover that one. Yeah.
And it was a wedding, like it was a friend's wedding. So my brother was in it and I was taking pictures of the wedding. So I texted my brother, who was my ride, and I called him immediately after and I said, hey, so can I plan to leave at early in the morning on Saturday after the wedding so we can get back for the Wazoo game? Which of course he's like one of my biggest, he's been such a supportive brother. So he was like, yes, we're going early in the morning to get you there on time. So that, I would say, was probably the biggest turning point for me and giving me the confidence to just go for it, which led to Gonzaga seeing my Wazoo pictures and saying, wow, those are actually great pictures. You should come shoot for us. And then I started reaching out to more content creators, people who were in the professional world, college world, and realizing I just got to ask questions. I'm in this for the long run. Even if it takes me 10 years to get to the NFL, I'm in it. I'm going to push for it. I'm going to just do what I can with what I have. I did a lot of stalking. Genuinely, it's hard to find. It's hard at the beginning to find photographers or videographers who are in the NFL world because no one gets tagged.
That's 100% something I've been dealing with very recently, and I totally understand why now. But it makes it so hard to find those people in the role that you want, for sure.
Really is. Thankfully, it seems like they all follow each other. So as soon as you find a few, I just went in and started seeing who they followed. And then I was like,
LinkedIn really helps for this as well. Yeah.
exactly. LinkedIn is great. So I spent a lot of time messaging people, asking questions, and even getting on calls with people just to say, hey, how do you do this? Obviously, I had very specific questions, but generally that's kind of
Yeah,
what
no,
I
I totally understand. I've done the same in the past, for sure.
one of the creatives, because I said, how do I connect with NFL players? And they said, NFL players love to get free pictures just to show whether they're training. They love getting content.
People forget that like they're athletes and celebrities are people as well, and
Exactly.
it's generally based on like the team perspective or the association, company, whatever. And if you focus on like the individual,
Mm-hmm.
it can go so far. So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but it's super familiar.
No, no, exactly. So I messaged maybe 100 NFL players, obviously focusing on the Seahawks because they are closest to me, but definitely just reached out to as many as I could to see. I offered them free shoots basically, and I did not expect an answer at all. But then finally, one player responded, which also was a turning point. I remember throwing my phone because I didn't think it happened. I was like, there's no way this NFL player just responded to me. And he was very sweet. It was a very cool experience getting to stay in contact with him. A while before that, I had already bought tickets to go to the first Seahawks game because I had never even been to an NFL game because my goodness, they're expensive.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
they were playing the Broncos, and those are my two favorite teams ever. I'm definitely a Broncos fan since I was little. So I bought tickets with my dad and we were going anyways. So I was like, sweet, I'm gonna go and take my small little camera in. And although we had nosebleed seats, I spent the entire warm up time at the bottom as close as I could get and just taking pictures of the players running out, both sides, Broncos, Seahawks, everything, all I could. And then I found the player that I had been messaging, took photos of him,
Mhm.
and was trying to get
Strategy. Yeah.
as much content as it could. And then after the game, I sent them to him and I said, "Hey, I got these pictures of you." And I had previously asked him, I said, "Hey, is there any way for like, would you want me to come on the field and get pictures for him?" But he hadn't seen the message. And so when he saw the photos, he responded and he said, basically, we need to get you on the field.
It's such a familiar story, and it's something I've done in the past, and it's people listening really need to hone in for a second, because like that is like send 100 messages and don't take no answer as a okay, I give up and I'm gonna just move on. Like it what you just did by taking the photos of him and doing it yourself and then following up, like you got to put yourself in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like they probably get like hundreds of these messages a day,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, 99.9% of those messages are probably not the photos they want. You know what I mean? So showing initiative like that speaks so many volumes. And then on top of it, it's high quality content. So yeah, it's such a proven tactic. I just wanted to like make sure everyone really point that part out, I guess. Yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I was hoping for is just you just never know what's going to happen. And I think there were many, many moments when I felt like, why am I doing this? And I don't feel like I'm actually that good because, again, I would just be watching the people that I'd want to become. And instead of learning from them or studying them, I was like, well, I'm not that good. I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to hire me. No one's going to pay me. And so thankfully, I was able to find just a small handful of people that are very close to me who are better than me. And so they are the people I go to who will be honest with me and just say, "Hey, you need to fix this and this and this to get better." And yet they will tell me, "Hannah, you are really good," or you're getting there, you need to keep going.
100%. Those are really important people.
Yeah, and I think if I didn't have them, I would not be where I am right now at all. Like I would have.
But on top of that, just for your sake and as a reminder, like you clearly have the I don't know what mentality, attitude it is, but it's like the I won't give up mentality. And I think that's like it's I don't know if it's like harder for a creative, but it's like an entrepreneurial thing and it's like a business owner thing. Like there's so many, you know what I mean, attributes that connects to, but from my experience, it's a lot harder as a creative because I think we all have those moments of like or I've had those moments of like, why am I even doing this? And am I even that good? Or am I even good? Or like, etc. And that's life. You know what I mean? So I think the thing to take away from it is pushing past that and still going out there and making it happen because you clearly are and have. So that's I think like the main part to take away from that.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what I've been trying to keep holding on to is the
Easier said than done. Easier said than done.
it really is. Yeah, I think after that, I will say with the opportunity to work for this Seahawks player, I have learned that not all teams are open to letting outside photographers in. For example, the Chiefs are a lot harder to do that with, which I mean that does make sense.
Yeah, I guess it adds up a bit. I'm not the biggest. I don't have the most knowledge on like NFL or football teams, but that makes sense. You know what I mean? So
So there are some teams that are a lot harder to or impossible to even have the players bring on their own photographers. But I think
connecting it to like F1, it's like harder to get into Ferrari versus Haas. You know what I mean? So
exactly,
yeah, I get it. I
exactly.
get it.
So I got the opportunity to shoot, I think it was 6 games for the Seahawks that season, last season. And of course, I think every single game, I definitely got emotional every time I got on the field, which I don't know how everyone reacts or how everyone feels. I think it may be different for each person. But for me, having watched NFL football since I was little and growing up, it football is just it's just a part of my life. I love it. It's
No,
I
I totally understand the moment that you're speaking about, and
Mhm.
like I think it's hard for me to understand how some people don't have that moment. I don't know. I guess it's just different paths to where they are, right? But by the sounds of it, we've had a pretty similar path, and it's like all the work and all of the like moments of like, am I really doing the right thing here? And like all of those things combined, when you like step out on the field, you're like, all right, this is it. Like it was all worth it. So I just it's hard for me to even like relate to like whether it be like in like motorsport level, whether it be like an engineer or like a volunteer or a photographer or something. I just don't understand how people don't think like that. So that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons that really kept me going was that feeling. I think also the reminder that I did not want to forget that feeling because the bigger you get, the less impressive those little moments
And busier.
and busy. Yeah. And so I think I did not want to forget each of those moments of the first time I walked onto Gonzaga's basketball court was crazy for me. And I think getting to do what I did, going and shooting Fanatics Fest this past weekend, the comparison is quite different and the level is very different going from D1. Even though it's a big basketball team, there is a difference from going to Gonzaga versus standing next to Tom Brady. And I still don't want to forget those little feelings of, I can't believe this is happening.
It's
I
it's
can't believe
what's
this is
important to you, right? And like your journey. So I totally can't even put into words how much I can relate to that. But I think like that's what is super clear about, I don't know, just like you as a person, and it comes out in your content, is that you care, and that like obviously by speaking to you as well is that you're a good person, because like those to me are like the important characteristics, if you know what I mean. And yeah, that's I can definitely relate. Let's just put it like that. I find the little moments are the important ones, and like I can vividly remember outside of like one IMSA shoot that I did in California where like this young boy who was like, I want to say like 7 to like 8, 9, 10 like tops, you know what I mean, was like kind of like looking at me with his mom for like 10 minutes like while I was finishing up my shoot. And then I like walk past the barrier, and like I can vividly remember his mom being like, do it, just go ask. And then he like comes over and was just so nervous and like just like almost like shaking, and like reminded me so much of myself. And it was just like, I'm just wondering like how you got into this and like what you like. And I ended up talking to him and his mom for like 45 minutes because it's just like, dude, like you're like, this is amazing. So
Yeah, totally. That is something, I mean, obviously I post a lot I want to do more because I haven't had time, but just getting to teach and having a lot of kids messaging me just saying, how do I do this? How do I do this? That's also something that pushes me. It's like, I want to learn so I can help others get better than me. because who knows how far I'll go or how long this will go. I don't know. Maybe something will happen and I won't get to do this the rest of my life. I don't know. And it's okay. But if I can get these skills to be able to pass them on, especially to younger kids who are like just really excited and have the drive, I just am like, hey, every time someone texts me or messages me like, how do I get here? Like, what do you think of my pictures? It's so fun getting to just get to
That's
encourage
like
them.
a moment I'll never get over. Like we were talking about before, where it's like, just don't like get over that feeling, if you know what I mean. Cause yeah, that's so important to me as well. And it's like, it's really cool to think about, like you were saying before, like all these people who you're like looking up to and etc. And it's like, now you are one of those people to other people.
Yeah.